Hi everyone, welcome back to another iteration of Daytona office hours, whereas every week we take a look at what we achieved during the past 7 days and what you have coming up in Daytona open source and on our cloud as well. So since the last update, as you can see, there have been a lot of changes in the repository itself. We've been very busy pushing fixes, features, and everything in between. So to start, a couple of minor updates. An external contributor fixed just a wrong port number in the registry UI service for Docker Compose. It just affected the UI itself, but the Compose itself with the registry feature continued to work normally. Then we merged a quite a big PR that is in regards to refactoring snapshot states and kind of overhauling the entire snapshot registration system. This PR has been going around for about 2 months now because it had a lot of moving parts to consider, and now we finally merged it and released it to our cloud. The feature itself improved snapshot creation times by a lot, or registration times, and also helped us to redistribute some of the load during the snapshots registration process. Then we also added an option to the proxy to disable the preview warning. This is a good addition for local and self-hosted Daytona deployments, because in most cases you don't need the preview warning if you're deploying locally, especially with Compose. So now the preview warning is disabled by default. Then we added a destroyed state check for update sandbox state, just a small fix for the sandbox lifecycle, and also added some logs flush during the app init process. Then you'll see a lot more commits moving forward from our new colleague Robert, who's our design engineer, and he has been working on some UI quality of life improvements during the past couple of weeks, especially in regards to the wallet page, limits page, and everything, and the docs page, page as well. Then we made a small fix to the API to update some update queries where we manipulate the sandbox state just to eliminate any kind of concurrency update issues that we noticed in the past. Also, a great addition for self-hosted environments, we added a separate cookie domain for the proxy. This enables the proxy to be deployed under the same domain as the API to prevent double wildcard certificates to the double wildcard certificate provisioning requirement. So now everything can be under one cert, which is much more clean when self-hosting Daytona. We also added a sandbox archive command due to a popular request by our users in the CLI. Also a small fix for streaming in the TypeScript SDK. This is, I believe, just a fix for some runtimes, and as you'll notice in some of our SDK releases, this is a very difficult topic to track down because there's a lot of runtimes that the SDK can run in. So we really appreciate users who debug these sort of issues and help us out with resolving all of them. Then we also have a big feature to the API, which is request rate limits. So we pushed a feature that allows control over rate limits over the entire API through some environment variables. And these rate limits are segregated into authenticated anonymous and also special rate limits for sandbox creation and sandbox lifecycle endpoints, just to have a bit more control over those endpoints, because we want to enable much higher rate limits for these requests than, for example, some other not so important requests. Then we also had a few fixes in the API and a feature for logging execution. This is more of a development and logging thing, not really a feature that impacts users. Then we also made a fix for configuring the API to make the health check endpoint for runners configurable instead of just a hard-coded 3-second timeout. We also fixed a proxy invalidation. We added a proxy invalidation service to fix an issue where the proxy would go to a stale runner of the sandbox. For example, if you archived and then started the sandbox really quickly, the preview page of the sandbox could go to the runner it was archived from. So we just invalidated some cache that we used to make the request faster. Also a fix for syncing start states in the API itself. Again, some small tweaks to the sandbox lifecycle, and also the snapshot propagation refactor. Again, just a quality of life improvement for our backend services. Then a few dashboard and docs issues, or sorry, commits. We added our cloud IP range for whitelist. This is just a static list of IPs where our API nodes are hosted on, just so users who have firewalls can whitelist Daytona inside of them. Then we also added a QL to the dashboard for quality of life improvement to the dashboard that uses links instead of buttons in the sidebar, just to make navigation a bit easier. Then also some tweaks to the duration of the animation, of the pulsing animation in the sandbox table. Again, a small dashboard fix. We also fixed a duplicate create sandbox call issue on the runner. So, for example, if you attempted to create a sandbox twice on the runner with the same configuration, we would throw an error and throw the sandbox in an error state. Now we just return the sandbox if it's already created, just so the function itself can be idempotent, and it makes it consistent with the other lifecycle operations as well. Then we have a feature for the docs for reorganizing some navigation, and we also deployed that already. Just an improvement to the overall navigation experience in the documentation, and not only the sections are reorganized, we also added some improvements to the UI itself. A chore made by me to just bump some of the Go dependencies, resolve some deprecations. We had a few packages that depend about Rails to bump, and we just bumped Go entirely in our development workflow, and just updated some deprecations that resulted in the upgrade itself. And then we have small fixes for environment configuration for the API. We just added default environment variables to the local development ENVs that we use while developing Daytona, not a fix for users that use Daytona, just for developers. We also fixed just a few hours ago runner assignment on failed sandbox build. Again, quality of life improvement for our backend and for our APIs in regards to sandbox lifecycle. And lastly, we added a feature to the API and daemon to update higher pull rates by using Docker default users. This basically means that the runner itself will receive a default Docker user if images are pulled from Docker Hub. This is just to prevent any rate limits that might be going on if the runner receives high traffic for pulling images on its infrastructure, and this is just to prevent it. We basically allow for injecting a default user into the Docker registry table, and now that user will be used for any public Docker Hub image on the runner. And that's about it from these updates in the past 7 days. As you can see, quite a lot of movement in the repository. We still have a lot of pull requests open that we are getting through, and more of them are opening up as days go by. Probably some of the most interesting ones that we have coming up in the next few days. We have a big feature coming up in probably the next 2 weeks in regards to custom regions that organizations will be able to create. That's all part of our effort to support bring their own compute on Daytona, open source, of course, and on our cloud as well. And that involves a few PRs that we have coming up, and it's going to be a big effort to get that deployed till the end of the year. And also, probably worth to mention, this is something that a lot of users have been asking for, is the stateful Python interpreter by our colleague Mirko. It's a set of features in the SDK and API to allow stateful Python interpreter execution. So you'll be able to execute commands one after the other and remain in the same context of the same Python interpreter. So definitely a big improvement for users that use our sandboxes to execute Python code. That's it for this office hours. As always, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them here or in any of our official communication channels such as Slack, Twitter, or email or LinkedIn. We're everywhere, so feel free to ask. And thanks for being here, and see you all next week.